Okay, good evening or good night. Actually, it's close to 12 p.m. or 0 a.m. whatever. So recently, I'm getting a lot of all sorts of like job descriptions or job like all sort of hot babes from the HR, presumably from the HR professions that message me, whether it could be in LinkedIn or directly to my number that they somehow got with them. Then they want to interest me in also sort of like job opportunities, and I don't even know if, and I haven't done anything on that front like for a long while, because as I said, I don't want to be a whore for this country. I want to be rescued from this country, and I'm not even sure if they really think about like offer me a job or trying to see if I fit to any kind of job that they possess, they know of, or they actually offer me themselves, which is possible as well. It doesn't matter. As I said, I'm not searching to be a whore of the state of Israel and any kind of relationship in Israel. Whether it could be being an employee, or it could be like a romantic relationship. Any kind of relationship will be under the scrutiny, under the microscope of the Shabak, and will turn out very, 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 very quickly to be a prostitution job for my part, and this is unacceptable. I need to be rescued from the Nazi prison. Me and my daughters, to be rescued from the Nazi prison. And while the world speaks, like talk with the Israelis about the viability of the option of me being rescued, more and more asteroids are being sent to Earth in order to annihilate the scum from this planet. And it's very unfortunate, because I think that we are, many years past the time that this talking should have been stopped, and arms and legs and hands should have been moved in order to rescue me from the Nazi prison. Okay, so there is nothing new about that. So why did I tell you about those fine ladies, those fine prostitutes of the Israeli Shabak? Because this reminded me of something very important that I've spoken about a lot, many times, using the Twitter stage, and before that using my private notes that are, of course, they exist in my Evernote account and also in my Gmail as a backup, and of course they were available for several intelligence agencies for quite a while now. So I can't, and I don't want to currently repeat everything that I said, for like it was. It's already here. It's already years on the matter. I don't want to speak about it again, because I can't. It's not the time. It's not the place, and I need to be rescued, and not to just repeat everything that I already said before. But it is important for me to summarize very, very quickly, and a very complicated and long issue that, again, I've spoken about many times in great lengths and in great details. But I need, what's going on now with these women reminded me that I need to use the YouTube stage, which is a new stage, and also what's new is that I speak English, which is also a big deal for some of you, as I understand, because not everyone have proper translations. So for the first time on the YouTube stage and using English, I want to repeat very, very quickly an issue that is very important in order to understand what kind of hell I'm living in, what kind of Nazi prison I'm living in. So I'll do it as fast as quick as I can. But it's important for me to put a quick summary of the issue. So the issue is the following. there were many occasions during my life on which most of them was related to the jobs that I worked in. Many occasions where I felt that I am, let's say, seduced, but it was in a very, most of the time this was very, in a very gentle way, in a very, like not the way that it's done, like, in cheap movies, but the way that you will saw that, the Mossad conducts such operations. With a little bit of elegance. I would say that many times the elegance was only on the minds of the operators. And that for people that have a little bit of brain and common sense, there was not elegance and no elegance at all. So the elegance, I'm laughing but it's very, very serious. What I'm talking about, the issue that I now speak about is extremely sinful and extremely evil, and it's not funny at all. I left out of just the inconvenience of reiterating my thoughts on the matter. And even though I will not use names now, but I've used, the actual names and events and places before in great lengths. So I'm not hiding anything, but I cannot repeat it now, and I don't want to repeat it all of that now. But let me just say it's an extremely serious matter, and just that in itself is, from my perspective, a reason to destroy the state of Israel, and I'm dead serious about it. So, in retrospect, I understood that those women were not normal women, and that and many times I didn't comply with it. I didn't get along with that, but sometimes I did. I'm not a virgin. I had few, apart from the fact that I had a wife and I had a few girlfriends, I also had a few, one-night stands in my life. And not a lot, but I had a few, and so in several occasions, these kind of seductions led to actually short or very short sexual relationship, but mostly it didn't turn out. It did not mature to what the woman actually was directed to do. Sometimes because she was married. She was, according to the story, she was married or had a boyfriend, and I've never in my life had any kind of relationship with a married or a woman that was in a relationship, at least to the best of my knowledge. And I thank God for keeping me out of this trouble and letting me, stand in this, or not stand in this kind of seduction. But there were other reasons too, and mostly the other reasons, when the woman was, at least on paper, or at least according to her declarations, she was single, several times this went well because I sensed some kind of a grim, a morbid attitude out of her. She wants to tempt me, she wants me to sleep with her, but it was hard for me to explain, but only on a hindsight I can tell what I thought in this. But during the events themselves, which almost all of them took place before I had any understanding of my place in this world and any understanding of the importance that the intelligence community is putting on me in Israel. But even then I understood there is something extremely morbid, death related to the issue. So after a long time, and a lot of thinking and following all sorts of adventures that I spoke about in great lengths, and again, I can't repeat everything now, I understood the following. I understood that those women were not Homo sapiens, or another options that they are Homo sapiens, but they have a very specific and dire medical condition, like a kind of a terminal disease or something, like a very peculiar disease that is so peculiar in a way that they do not belong. They no longer belong to what we call Homo sapiens. And for our own purpose, for this specific purpose of this video, it doesn't even really matter if these women were born and raised on Earth, and that they are and they have just a normal human heritage, like a real family tree with Homo sapiens, and that they got the disease or the special condition because of like malevolent actions from an enemy intelligence, or because of any other random event. Or it doesn't matter if this is the case, or maybe they came from another planet. Maybe they came from the planet Venus, for example. Okay, of course, I do not pick this example just randomly, as you all know, but we don't even need to pry too much into the whole issue of the Venusians and the portal that you all already know that exist. And actually there are several portals, and I don't know how many of them you already know about, but there are several portals on Earth, but let's not speak about it now. But we don't need to even speak about it, because it doesn't really matter whether the case that of them have maybe an extraterrestrial origin, or perhaps they have completely normal terrestrial origins, but they have special condition. The fact that I understood, the factor is that those women, although many times they try to portray themselves, and other people that are part of the operation try to portray them as very sexually liberated, like liberal sexually, that they had many partners and they don't give them, that they are down to fuck. But I understood that, I'm speaking now in retrospect. It's much harder for me to say what I understood during the events, and I'm speaking about events that took place during a period of more than a decade, and there were women that were different, and the situation was different. So it's not something that is easy for me. We cannot. It's impossible to generalize. But what I can do is to generalize in retrospect, and it's more. This is more important for the purpose of this video. So I can generalize. From in hindsight, that those women were actually have very little experience with men, perhaps even no experience at all with men. Again, I spoke about it in much more detail, and in the Twitter stage, and in Evernote my private notes, and I don't want, and I can't repeat everything right now, but it's to all my listeners, my long-time listeners, especially in the intelligence community, especially people that have access to my Gmail account, which means that they have an access to the Echelon program. And I know that many people have access to the Echelon program. They can, if they really want, and they didn't do it until now, they can search for my older notes and acquire names and places and many stories that surrounds this issue. But I can say that in a very short summary, that in retrospect, I understood that those women actually were not really down to fuck. I've met women in my life. I just, to be clear, I don't have any. My nature, and I understood it long ago, is that if I want, I don't. Nothing like medical prevents me from having sexual relationship with any kind of woman that you know about. She can be. The best case scenario is that she will be a groove, an angel like me, but these are very hard to come by. So next best option is that she will be a Titan from Venus, but Homo sapiens women are also, they are disgusting, but because they're Homo sapiens, and it's a disgusting species, but I can, and I have slept with such women, and sometimes I even I admit that I enjoyed it even very much. But yeah, it's certainly, for out of the three known kinds, the Homo sapiens women are certainly in the last place. And the women that are in the first place, I mean, I know that they exist, but I don't know where. They are probably very hard to find. I don't know if it's possible at all to find them. Probably it's going to be difficult. I mean, I suspect that some are hibernating. It's no more than a suspicion. I know that the several are hibernating in several planets and moons in the solar system, but I mean, I don't have any ship that can get me there. So for now, it's like, I mean, they are the sleeping beauties. Not by the way, not only women, also men as well. But I mean, those sisters and brothers of mine. I mean, I don't have any way to wake them up. I mean, because I don't have the proper ship or an access to a proper portal. I have none of these. So it seems that for now I will need. I mean, if and when I will want, and I surely will want to continue having a relationship. I mean, romantic and sexual, and maybe a relationship, and maybe even getting married again, and certainly have a family again. I mean, more children. Besides the two daughters that I already have, and I love more than anything in the world. So I mean, since like as I said, it's members of my female members or of my own kind are very difficult to come by at the current circumstances, and unless, I mean, I find like a portal that will direct me to certain lava tubes on Mars, or I mean, a really generous benefactor will donate a spaceship for me to get me to Mars, and I don't see that how this is going to like happen anytime soon. I will need to probably need to start relationship with the non-cherubs, like so. The best option, I mean, the second best option is the Titanesses, but not Israeli ones, because they are disgusting like every other Israeli. So I'm sorry to say that, but that's and I know that they are slaves. I want them to be freed. It's my dire wish that we will all be freed, but the current situation is that they are disgusting because everyone that they live in Israel is disgusting, and that's just the truth, the plain truth. But let's go back to the serious subject. I mean, everything is serious, but to the extremely serious subject that I want to complete. I understood that the several women that came to tempt me to engage in sexual relationship with me were not normal Homo sapiens, but the ones that I call Titaness, the female form of Titan, which means that they either have Venusian family tree, like family tree from another planet, probably Venus, but that doesn't really matter. It could be another planet, but it doesn't really matter. Or they are completely Homo sapiens, but they have this condition that prevents them from having any sexual relationship with men. Something like probably something like AIDS. Maybe some of them had just proper AIDS. I mean, it could be that you just had AIDS, and for the purpose of this video, it doesn't really matter. It could be that all of them were just women with AIDS that the government sent in order to tempt me to have sex with. Doesn't really matter. Maybe that was the case. What I want to underline here is the fact that the government, the Shabak, told women with terminal condition, or at least condition that for a man to have sex with will probably put in a terminal danger both his life and her life. And they try to do it again and again with the purpose of murdering both me and the woman. Now, you could argue that such sexual relationship from the kind that I speak about do not kill the woman if she's very, if she's very cautious. Perhaps, I mean, let's put it on the table. Maybe they order them just to give me a blowjob, and then perhaps this kind of thing only puts the man in terminal danger and not the woman. But this is a very lame excuse. I mean, excuse. It's still a murder. It still means that the government tried to murder me several times, but presumably not the woman. But let's be honest. We cannot really be certain that, I mean, a woman that is sent to such a mission will actually, will actually survive it. I mean, whatever, I mean, even if the oral sex scenario is somehow viable, let's be real. Any woman that is sent to such a mission knows that her life is in great danger, and I mean, it wasn't for nothing that I sense that I sense that they have to do it. I sense that they really want to comply with the objectives, like they want to sacrifice themselves. I sensed like that they're in a mission to sacrifice themselves. And I sensed it way before I understood that there is something special about me. It was something like morbid that haunted me. And so in several cases, and in some cases, the women were very, to my test, both sexually and intellectually. And again, I spoke about it a lot in the previous stages that I spoke on, and I wasn't shy of using specific names and dates and everything. So it's not. I mean, the fact that I do not give you details now is not because I'm afraid for my own privacy, nor do I'm afraid for the privacy of the other, for the woman, because I think this issue is too important, it's important enough so we will not think about important issues like privacy, but important is it's not more important than to speak about the horrors that the Israeli government subject its slaves to. So those women, they didn't really understand who am I, because the government itself didn't understand who am I. But the woman didn't think that I am what I tell you now, because no one could tell them that, because this was a great secret even within the Israeli intelligence. And up to this point, many people in the Israeli intelligence deny that it's even true. I mean, up to this point, many people inside the Israeli intelligence try to somehow prove that I am not an alien, which means that I'm not an humanoid, which is not Homo sapiens and not a Titan. By this point, they still claim to their wrong, obviously wrong claims from before. I mean, while other people know the truth a long time ago, but they just don't want to admit it. But it is certain that those women did not understand reality, because even my own mother doesn't understand reality. Even my own mother. This is a big secret inside the Israeli intelligence, and there is a waves upon waves of misinformation and disinformation that for many years directed the people inside the Israeli community to think of me as what I call a sorcerer, which means a Titan that has changed his appearance, including a sex change from female to male. Now, I don't want to get too much into it because it's very important, but it's a whole, it's a big subject that I spoke about a lot in the past, but it's not terribly important because it doesn't matter for the purpose of this video. For the purpose of this video, what I want to establish very clearly is that those people, the government of Israel, sent women that are essentially slaves to the Israeli intelligence to have sex with a man while these women thought, and their operators thought, that the men will surely die and that the woman will probably die, but maybe not 100%, but that they are in great risk of their life. Their life is in great risk. And they did it again and again, through the duration, along the duration of several good years. And they did it. They did it, and they continue to do it. And only now, the knowledge that I am not a danger to any kind of woman that is doing that could possibly have sexual relationship with me, and she is not a danger to me, and I'm not a danger for her. Only now this knowledge is starting to be a common knowledge inside the Israeli intelligence. Whatever the reason that they think that they think they could think that I'm just, I know, an angel, the son of God, a titan, a cherub, perhaps a Homo sapiens, perhaps a mutant like the X-Men, perhaps coming with like Logan, like Wolverine. Perhaps that, doesn't really matter, but this knowledge is only starting to be common now, and that's why you see all those women now at that point start to these beautiful women, one after the other. You see, it's just the last couple of, maybe a week or two up to this day that you see those beautiful women start to approach me. Using LinkedIn or WhatsApp or whatever. Or messages or Facebook or whatever, because this knowledge is now it became common. But before that, everyone saw that sexual relationship with me will put my life in great danger, and probably also the life of the woman that is involved. And they did not spare the woman because they treat them as slaves, and for the purpose of killing me, which was the holy grail of many people inside inside the Israeli intelligence for a long time now. They didn't care of murdering several of the women slaves, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is a fact, an undeniable fact. And again, nothing can justify it. It doesn't even matter what is my true nature, because what's matter here is what they knew, the operators and the woman knew or suspected about my nature. And both the woman and the operators knew or suspected, they had a very strong inclination to suspect that a sex with me will kill me, and probably will also kill the female titans that were involved, but they sent them anyway. Because killing me is even more important than the life of their slaves. This, my friends, is the state of Israel, the villa in the jungle, the only democracy in the Middle East. And it's the state of Israel right now, not a million years in the past or a million years in the future. This is the state of Israel right now, as we speak. And you, whoever you are, a foreigner outside of Israel, should do everything that was in your power in order to rescue me and my daughters from this Nazi prison. And you should disconnect any kind of relation that you have with the state of Israel, whether it's military one, commercial one, and of course a friendly one. You should disconnect it, because you are watched. You are being watched. And it doesn't matter if you want to call the watcher God. It's personally, I wish that you would call the watcher God, because it is God, just the God that you know from your childhood. It's him that is watching. But if you want to call him the flying spaghetti monster, or the Klingons, or the Vulcans, or the tripods from H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, I do not mind. And I'll tell you that even he minds, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that you will know that he is there, he's watching, and he hates the state of Israel, and you already know that he will destroy it, but it will also destroy all its collaborators, and I guarantee you that it will happen. And when we speak about collaborators with the state of Israel, the most important one is, of course, the United States of America, which is going to be a big pile of rubble. I swear, that's what is coming for them.